Okay, today we're sitting down with Lany Herman, one of my best girlfriends. She's amazing. She is actually one of the founding Nike studio trainers and works for FitLab in recruiting for the Nike studios. So welcome. We're going to be talking from everything from her personal life to where she is now and how she got to where she is. Let's do it. All right. So Lany, from the top, where are you from? Lany, little Lany.
Who are you and what's going on?
Yeah.
Firstly, I'm so proud of you and where you're at as well. Just a little moment for us. All right, let me tell you. Okay, so I grew up in Brisbane, Australia. In high school, I was only good at two things. The two things being sport and dancing. And my mum was very passionate about me going to university and getting a bachelor's degree. So I had to pick, and I thought, and I missed the dance submission. So I looked at all the courses and I found exercise science and sport nutrition. And I was really passionate about sport and also about nutrition and didn't know which one to dive into. So I found this bachelor's degree that utilized both. So I signed up for there. And when I was studying it, I got really interested in the sports aspect, like how to enhance sport performance. And I originally wanted to be a strength and conditioning coach. However, when I was doing my prac hours as a strength and conditioning coach, I did some for a rugby team. And the strength and conditioning coach that was coaching us said to me that it's going to be hard to go in that field because I'm a woman and that I'd probably only be able to work in just women's sport because if I worked in a man's sport that they wouldn't respect me. And I was like, that sounds like a pretty rough industry. And obviously he said there's going to be a lot of hours to develop to get into a really high level of sport. So I was like, okay, it's good to know, what we're getting into. And then I also did my prac hours at a local gym. And at this time I was in university doing a 3-year degree on exercise science. And then I was like, I'm not a personal trainer. You know what I mean? I was a bit like, I didn't go to university for 3 years to be a personal trainer. But again, I'm young. I don't know what's happening. I don't know about the industry. Anyway, so I was doing my prac hours at a local gym as a trainer. And when I was doing it, there were other exercise physiologists there that were also trainers. And I got to work with people one-on-one. And I was like, wow, this feels really rewarding, the impact I could have on someone's life rather than someone's 10-second time. And that to me felt like more fulfilling and connecting. So then after that, I decided we're going to go in the fitness direction, in the fitness route. And then throughout this whole journey, I was traveling. Aussies, we love to travel. It's our thing, not just for 1 week, 3 weeks, 3 months, a year, So I was traveling every year back and forth. And I was like, I think I should probably just live somewhere. It just makes more sense. And at this time, I was thinking about LA because I went there and I was just attracted to the place because everyone's just themselves and everyone is supported in their dreams and it's not, you're out of the norm. Sometimes with small town behavior, it feels a bit like, why do you want to do that if you're not?
You're kept in like a box almost, yeah. Yeah, LA's a great place for dreaming.
Yeah.
City of dreaming.
Exactly. And, living in Australia, it's just very, I guess, norm, like societal norms. Everyone, this is what you do at this age. This is what you do at this age.
Have kids at this time. Yeah.
Get a house and all that.
Yeah.
Which I still want all of that. But at the time I was like, it just didn't feel, it felt so like I knew how my life was going to go.
Yeah.
I knew every step where I was going to be. And we have that saying, same old.
Yeah.
And that's where I felt like I was at. And I was like, how are you doing? I'm like, same old. Is that how I want to answer a question?
Yeah.
Is that how you do it to be?
Yeah. Yeah.
It felt very stagnant, although very comfortable, very grateful. But I was like, I want more adventure. I want thrill. I want to know the struggle and the hustle.
Rush.
So, mate, did I find out?
Struggle. The real living struggle. Okay, so you wanted to go to LA.
I wanted to go to LA. And at the time, a couple of my other friends, 3 of my other friends were moving to Toronto, Canada. And I was like, that seems like a good idea. And I was like, guys, have any of you been there? Because I've been to Vancouver, Whistler in the winter. And I was like, have you guys been there? And none of them, they're like, no. I'm like, it's cold, right?
Yeah.
It's cold. They're like, yeah, it's going to be fine. Woo. And I was like, should I go to Toronto with 3 of my best friends? Or should I just go to LA by myself? And I'm like 25.
Yeah.
And I was like, fuck it. YOLO, let's fucking go to Toronto.
Yeah.
And that's just where I was at in my life. I was just like, I just want to adventure and YOLO.
Nice.
So we moved to Toronto, and that's where
you and I met. It's a beautiful experience. Funny story. We actually used to work in a nightclub in Australia, Brisbane, and I had seen you in the staff room. So meeting you in Toronto was so weird because I was like, yo, we used to work together at a nightclub.
That's so crazy. You were bartending, right?
Yeah, I was bartending bottle service. Those were the days, honestly. And that
Maybe vibes.
Maybe that's why I don't go out nor drink.
Yeah, we definitely have had those years.
Yeah.
Bartender, dancer, same club, Brisbane, didn't know each other.
Yeah.
Fast forward X amount of years. In Toronto, we meet, both from the same city.
Yep.
Exploring our lives in Toronto. You moved a year earlier? When did you move?
A year earlier. Yeah, a year earlier.
2014.
I think 2014, yeah. You moved in 2015.
Yeah. Little crazy.
I'm going to move to Toronto. But yeah, same thing as you. Like the dream was to move to LA or California.
You did. You moved for like a month, no?
Yeah. So funny story. I spent a few months in LA traveling and then went to Toronto and then decided that it was too cold. Like I got there and I'd never experienced the cold before being in Australia.
Especially Brisbane.
Yeah. And I got there, it was minus 20 degrees or something. And I was like, what the F am I doing? So I went back to LA and then stayed in LA for 10 months. It was great, that little stint.
Then you moved back.
And then, yeah, I moved back.
I moved to Toronto.
To Toronto. Yeah. I went there to visit a friend in the summer and she was like, oh, I'll come to Toronto. And I was like, oh, I'll come visit. And then I did, and I loved the summer, and it was so diverse, and I had a great time. And then I was like, you know what? I think I actually should go back to Toronto. And that's where my life started in Toronto, and 4 years. And then you were there how many years?
Yeah,
left at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah. We were in Toronto 4 years.
Yeah.
And then left at the same time.
And in Toronto, we had our little Australian crew.
Yeah, we had an Australian little group of girlfriends. It was great. We're still sane and do orphan Christmases and all that, which was
Yes.
And then, okay, you did Toronto. Talk about your fitness journey in Toronto. You went into doing PT or personal training. How did you get into boxing? Obviously, boxing's a huge part of your life. How did you get into that?
All right, so I went into Toronto and I was like, I'm moving, new life, again, YOLO. And I was like, am I meant to be in fitness or am I just in fitness because I love it or I'm good at it or I think I should be in fitness? Yeah. So when I actually got there, I was like, you know what? I'm going to step away from fitness for 6 months and go to a job that's just walk in, walk out, no stress, and just find myself again. So I started at a restaurant and I was a hostess. And then, because everyone's like, yeah, you made great money. And yeah. In Australia, we don't, get tipped or whatever, but everyone's, yeah, you can make what, 300 a shift or something. And I was like, you just serve people.
Yeah, easy money.
I'm going to try and do that.
Yeah.
And good to make friends. Yeah. No stress. Anyways, I was not very good. It was, I don't know. I tried it. It was fun to make friends and stuff. And then, I was like, I don't think this industry is for me. I want to go back into fitness. Started going back into fitness. Worked at probably around 8 different gyms over the course of 2 years.
Mm-hmm. Why did you leave them?
Just finding the right spot.
What do you think that comes down to? Like finding the right spot for you to work as like a trainer, but I think that can also correlate to people that, want to find a community and a good gym to go to because there's so many gyms out there. Just finding that right one as not only a trainer, but as a consumer as well.
Absolutely. For me, I need to be excited. Not excited, but at least walk in feeling inspired. Yeah, the place needs to be somewhat inspiring. For instance, the first one I went to, it was an underground. Remember the path? So in Toronto, they have a whole life downstairs underground, like a whole shopping center underground. So I worked underground in this really small PT space, literally the size of our 1-bedroom apartment. So I wouldn't say it was the most inspiring space. We have to try the things. So yes, inspiring space, great community in terms of the trainers. Mm-hmm. They become your team and like best friends and the clientele. Be able to connect with the clientele, make sure we both have the same values and alignment.
Yeah.
And also whatever I'm doing, if I'm training or if I'm teaching class, making sure I'm passionate about being in alignment with their brand and my brand. And that. Yeah. So I went through a few.
How did the boxing thing come about? Because you weren't really boxing before Toronto, right? How did you get into boxing? What inspired that?
All right. So I was teaching everything. TRX, boot camp, dance classes.
This girl can do it all.
I was like, tell me what you want, I'll do it. And then I was like, you know what? I feel like I should niche in something. I've been in the industry for then it was probably 6 years, and I was just good at everything. And I did so many qualifications and certifications to just try and be good at everything, so I could just be open to all opportunities and possibilities.
Yeah.
So then I was like, I want a niche. So what am I going to do? I'm like, I'm going to jump on ClassPass for a month and just try out like as many gyms as possible and see where that takes me.
Yeah.
So I did it, and then I found this boxing studio that was kind of like in a small room. Probably had like 10 bags, 10 stations.
Yeah.
You remember?
I remember it. Yeah. I remember it. Yeah.
And it was very simple, right? Yeah. Like a little dark room, cute little lights, microphone. The trainer was on the microphone, loud music. And you literally just rotate station to station. And under the bag, it had combos written out.
Yeah.
And I was like, this feels good. And I think also as a dancer, it just felt good to connect my brain to body in a way where I had to like be challenged and think. And it was obviously like an amazing workout. And I just felt connected. And I was talking to the owner of the studio, and I was like, I want to take free classes. Can we do an energy exchange? At the time, that was a big thing.
Yeah.
So then I worked the front desk so I could get all the free classes. And then eventually, obviously, I was there all the time. And then I talked to the owner, and I was like, I want to be a trainer here. And he was like, okay. Then he started training me up for it. And then in that training process, he was like, okay, so write some combos, write the layout of a class. And I was like, sure. So here I am, like 1, 2, 5, 6, step 2, 3. I'm just trying to code it out. And he'll look at my combos and he'd be like, what? This makes absolutely no sense. And I'd be like, what do you mean? Yeah, I'm like, this makes sense. I want to, but really it's just, I really had no idea. And I was like, okay, I need to know how to make a combo.
Yeah.
Like, how do I teach this?
Yeah.
And then we got into one-on-ones, and then he like trained all us trainers together. And I was like, okay, I want to know what I'm talking about. I want to get better. Obviously, I want to get better technically. And that's how it all happened. That's how it all started. The passion ignited. And then we all had our first sparring session. That was something. That was a memory not to be forgotten. So we pretty much did a round robin with all the trainers. They all sparred at times. And we're not in a ring. We're just in a studio.
And it's a small studio.
Yeah. And meanwhile, I'm trying to write combos I don't know. That's where I'm at.
Yeah.
I think
the level. That's the level we're at here.
So let's just think about that mindset walking into a sparring session. I don't even know slips and rolls, to be honest.
Yeah.
No defense.
You're doing like a jab uppercut.
Yeah, I don't even think I knew like the benefit of a double jab or like a block. I don't know.
Everyone starts somewhere. You know, everyone starts somewhere.
Yeah. So then I was like, man, hit. Okay. But I'm cool. I'm getting hit.
Yeah.
And people aren't like, it's not, oh, let's just touch and move around. It's bang.
No, there's something.
Anyway, went around. I got beat up, whatever. Walked out, cried my eyes out for 3 hours straight.
Did you have that? I don't think I ever cried.
You never cried?
But I definitely felt disappointed. Maybe I cried when my nose bled or something.
Oh, physical.
Yeah,
physical pain? No, my body was like in shock.
Yeah.
Crazy. But it's fine. I appreciate it.
You lived through it?
Yeah. And then it also gives me perspective of what it feels like.
Yeah.
Anyways, that gym didn't work out. And then I got recruited for another gym. That was a new gym coming up in Toronto, female owned. She took me under her wing, and she had a coach there that was also coaching at the studio.
Right.
And the coach does events every year. It's called Brawl on Bay Street. And he was together fight nights.
Yeah, I remember those. Yeah.
And he was like, you want to fight? And I was like, yeah, I guess so. Because again, I wanted to know what the hell I was talking about. Yeah. And if I was going to teach this class, then I need to be like, you do the crossfoot cross because. So I was like, here we go. Let's get into it. And then he was a very old school coach, very rough.
Would you say he was like your first coach?
Yes.
Yeah?
Absolutely.
Do you feel like he taught you the things?
All the things.
Love that.
And always will be a part of my life.
Yeah.
Forever. And he said that too. You will never forget me. And I was like,
yeah, you never forget your first coach.
No.
You know?
Yeah. So then I did the fight night.
Mm-hmm.
All the gym came out, all the clients, everyone, signs, go on, whatever. And I was like, I am not fucking losing. I am not.
You did not.
I've committed. I'm going hard.
Yeah, you went hard. I remember.
Yeah.
It was good, right? It was good. You did great. I was impressed.
Yeah, and then after that night, I won, and it was unanimous.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember my coach looking at me, and he was like, the world's your oyster. And I was like, I can do anything.
I love that.
No, I really felt like obviously the biggest high, and I've done a lot of performing with dancing and stuff, but this was like a different type of high. It was getting so uncomfortable and being so vulnerable and not knowing what's ahead of you, but just doing it anyway and just putting yourself out there in the arena, but also having the support of your friends.
Yeah.
And obviously the whole training process behind that. But then after that night, it just felt I literally can do anything. Nothing is scary.
Because that was a massive goal for you, and something that I feel you're super good at is you put your mind to do something and you'll do it no matter what. I know you got a few partnerships when you were at that studio. How did that come about? Did they approach you? That was your first main partnership, I'd say, right?
Yes. When I was at the studio, Bolo, the founder, Callie, she was connected with Puma. She was a Puma ambassador, and at the time they were recruiting more Toronto trainers. So she put a couple of us down as recommendations, and that partnership happened. And then from there, the next year, so the year after the boxing fight, we got flown out to Miami, all the trainers, love it, from the US and Canada, and they had this whole 3-day event. And it was the coolest thing ever. They picked us up in big cars. I was like, am I a superstar? They obviously had workshops. They had the filming, everything. Yeah. And it was my first time. And there was a lot of other boxing instructors there. Yeah. And so I really tried to connect with them. And through that, I met a guy that was the head coach / director of the boxing brand in LA called Box Union. I met him through there. And developing that network is how I got to LA.
So I guess from that connection that you made and then you decided, hey, I don't want to live in Toronto anymore. Why did you decide that? Because it's not easy to get to the States and live. What made you go, yeah, I want to do this struggle to move there?
It was always something that I wanted but didn't really know the how or when or what that looks like. But I knew that Toronto wasn't the be-all, end-all.
Yeah.
And I think in Toronto, you probably experienced that too. It's just that cold weather.
Yeah, it's killer.
Killer. It's cute for the first year. Oh my God, white Christmas. No. And then second year, oh, cute. We know how to do it. We can like get it better. And then after the third year, it was kind of like, wait, I need to quickly check in. What am I doing? Am I staying in Toronto? I'm still building here. Yeah. Am I trying to make my next move? So then when I got back from that trip in Miami with Puma, I reached out to one of the trainers that I met and was like, hey, I know you work at the studio. I would love to audition. Let me know if you need any trainers. And he was like, oh yeah, I'm going to put you in contact with this person. Next minute, I flew to LA to audition, like an 8-week auditioning process, which was a whole thing. And meanwhile, this little Brisbane girl was like, I know how to do fitness, group fitness, come to LA, get humbled real quick. Yeah. It grew me and I got the job. And the auditioning process, they wanted me. I flew back to Brisbane, Australia, got my visa. All happened within 4 to 6 weeks. Flew back to Toronto and packed my bags and left. Shit. It was just an opportunity. The opportunity came and everything just unfolded.
So was there any stage where you were like, shit, I'm blowing up my life? Or because it's a big thing moving halfway across all the way across the world, really. And then getting set up and then having to uproot your life again. Do you think it was easier when you've already uprooted your life? Was there any part of you that was like, oh shit, I'm leaving a big part of my life past 3 years behind?
Yeah, for sure. I knew Toronto wasn't the end, so it was just a matter of time. Yeah. But I had a really great thing in Toronto. I felt like that's when I finally was in a great place and established and connected. But when an opportunity rolls out like that, comes around, it's like, it's a no-brainer. You have to jump on it, otherwise it might not happen again. Yeah. And for me, I always try and make it happen because I'm scared of regretting it. Yeah. And so I have this urgency tendency where I'm like, yeah, you want me? Okay, cool. Let's make it happen, blah, 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 without thinking logistically. Yeah. It's my own kind of dreamer personality. Yeah.
But everything aligned really well for you.
It was, but I was scared. Yes. Yeah, I was absolutely scared. I think I knew one person and I had no idea what I was stepping into. Even the auditioning process, I never even took a class at the studio. I had no idea.
You got the job. You go there to LA. This sounds a little silly, doesn't it? No, you just went for it.
Just a nomad.
You went for it. Okay, then you got to LA. Yep. Where are you staying? What are you doing? You don't know anyone.
So no.
Are you gonna invest more in boxing? Obviously you did.
Yes, but boxing studio. Yeah.
Talk us through where you were. What did you say with friends? Like, how did you feel when you first got there? Your training process throughout that studio?
Go. Okay, so obviously after my fight, I wanted to find a niche. Found the niche. After the fight, everyone was like, Lany's the boxing girl, boxer, all the trainers. So I became the boxing girl, and then getting hired by LA Studio as a boxing instructor, that gave me a lot more confidence to be like, okay, I know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I'm confident in this. I still want to grow and be the best I can be.
Yeah.
So in my training group, there was like 4 people that I became really close friends with. And one of the girls that I was with allowed me to stay in her place. So I was literally living in a spare room for the first 2-3 months before I could get on my feet.
Yeah.
And moving in a new country, you have no credit score, you have no fucking card, no car.
Yeah.
You're literally just a gypsy.
Winging it.
Literally come in, you move out of countries, you come walk outside of the flight with fucking 3 bags, and you're like, this is it.
Yeah.
I remember actually someone looked at me and was like, this is all you own?
You're like, yes.
And I'm like, oh God.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Humbling.
This is all I own. This is all I have. And I'm staying in a friend's house for free. And I'm just literally have 6 to 10 classes a week. Not much money. I was just focused on teaching classes, building up through the studios.
Mm-hmm.
And then, COVID. Then COVID hit. So I moved in 2020. So funny talking about this. So I got there 2019 December. Yeah, COVID hits March 2020. So that's 4 months later. I'm like, okay, I'm starting to feel it. I moved into a new place in Santa Monica. I worked in Santa Monica. It was close. I think I bought a $2,000 car just to get me A to B.
Yeah.
And then COVID hits. Love that shit. In America.
That's rough.
From Australia.
That's rough.
As an immigrant.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then everyone is closing down just for 2 weeks, maybe more. We don't know. Anyway, closed down. So I'm like, okay, how long is this going to be for? Should I go to Australia? Should I stay? Do I even have a job? What the hell is happening?
Yeah.
So then the studio I was working for, they decided to go online and have an auditioning process with all the trainers. And only 2 spots were going to be offered. And we had a group of like 12 of us. So here I am, like filming, like tripod in my back. What's up, everyone? Welcome to our 45-minute boxing class today. So we submitted audition tapes, and lucky enough, I was selected, and then therefore I was able to stay all through COVID and help build the business through the online brand. And that was how I first got into on-screen fitness. Yeah. And that was like a really big thing through COVID. It blew up. Yeah. So I got to stay, and then that was quite the year. And then studio closed.
Busy. How many times are you filming a day?
5 days a week.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Live classes and on demand.
Yeah.
Learned very quickly how to figure that out. Yeah. So that was 2020 in a nutshell.
Damn. So, okay, so you didn't see your family. Yeah. 2 years. Yeah, that's rough. It was a rough time for a lot of people. Not being able to travel. Yeah. That was terrible. But after that, you pushed through, you got through COVID, you're doing the online thing, and then what? Studios open back up?
Studios open back up. Everything was popping off again, slowly but surely. Yeah. The mask thing, wear a mask everywhere. Yeah. Vaccination stuff. Yeah, so then I kept working, and then I got a couple of big auditions for other on-screen apps.
Nice. And that came from what you were doing online, and it's seen your stuff, or you'd applied?
All through direct. Yeah. Through DM, through Instagram. Yeah. I can't say the brands, but there's 4 big brands. Yeah. And I was like super excited about, and the apps were just like popping off. Yeah. It was like every trainer wanted to be a full-time on-screen talent because it was just, the pay was amazing and the lifestyle's amazing. So I got these 4 auditions that happened over the year, and I got to like I think I got one, but the project got cancelled.
Oh yeah, I remember. Yeah.
Yep. Went all the way to the very last phase of a really big one, and I was like, my life's gonna change. Everything's gonna be No, didn't make it. What happened to the other one? Oh, the other one got through, I think, 3rd phase, and then they said they went with a different direction, and then a couple of weeks later, they closed the studio. So that was good. Yeah, so a lot of no's, or just things that didn't work out. And then fast forward, I got another one, and I got it.
Amazing. I love that.
That was the beginning of last year.
Yeah.
Got a really big one, really excited. They wanted to do my visa and everything like that. They did. They did do my visa. They offered me the job. And 1 or 2 weeks later, got pulled. The whole project got cancelled. So it's just a lot of
ups and downs.
Yeah, ups and downs. Yes. And literally with this one, I was like, I don't even know if I want to audition because this process is so emotionally draining because I just get so excited.
And what does that look like? So you get in touch with them, and then what happens? They're like, come and audition or send a tape in.
Audition tapes, and then interviews, and then you go on set and deliver whatever they want you to deliver. Everyone's process is a little bit different. Yeah, pretty much. Just a lot of rounds through auditioning. And so then this one, game changer, I was like, this is real. Yeah, all my hard work's paid off. Yeah. And then, project got cancelled. I honestly, that hit me hard. It was pretty much because I really wanted to change.
Yeah, from what you were doing.
Where I was at.
Classes and...
Yeah, I was just getting extremely burnt out. I just wanted a lifestyle change, as other trainers probably can agree. Is like, we're just trying to be the best at what we do, and also trying to continuously grow, level up. And like, the older I feel for myself, the older I get, I just want to explore other options.
Yeah.
Anyways, so then
it's okay, it didn't go through.
That went through. I was really upset. And then it turns out the people who did my visa offered to be my agent. And that was pretty amazing because that offers me a lot of freedom.
Yeah.
And then through them, I got connected to an amazing lawyer. And then I got a different visa than I was currently on, which allows me to work for multiple employers. I'm actually classified as an extraordinary alien. That's what America classifies me as.
An alien?
Yeah, no matter, whatever. So anyway, I got the visa, which is actually better than everything else.
Yeah.
And the people who helped me get this visa were the people that I connected with all along that 1 year process.
Yeah.
I think it's just funny how things can come around full circle, and you just never know how one step is leading to the next, even if it's a no, or if it doesn't work in the way you want it to, or in the time you want it to.
Yeah.
However, the master plan is all happening in perfect order, and it's all working out better than you even thought it could be. And now it's like, I always wanted to be where I'm going to be at.
Yeah.
Hopefully in the next couple of days. Yeah. So it's just interesting because I could have never thought where I'm at could have happened from where I was. So I was just so tunnel vision.
Yeah.
Like, this is it and this is all.
Right.
If this doesn't work, I'm fucked.
So then I guess we're at 2023 now, like the start of 2023. What happened? Were you still working at the studio?
That 2023 was all of that.
Right. So then...
Actually, it was 2022 into 2023.
So then I guess I know there were some changes to you in 2023. What did that look like? You left your studio job.
Mm-hmm.
You decided you were over it, or what did that look like? And what did you think was happening next? Was it I'm over it, quit? Or was it a thought out process where you're like, okay, I have a plan. This is what I'm going to do. This is this.
Yeah. I was just not in a good place, and I was extremely burnt out, and I was like, I don't want to live like this. I'm starting to turn into a person that doesn't feel myself. It doesn't feel familiar. My joy and my energy is changing. And I was like, I'm turning into a person that I don't really know. Yeah. And I see it and I feel it, and I need to do something about it. And at this time when I was about to quit my job, I didn't know what was the next thing, like how it was all going to happen. And I was like, worst comes to worst, I'll just go back home, which is not terrible.
Yeah.
But it's not exactly what I wanted. I've just built my life in LA. I still want to continue working there.
Yeah.
And pursue everything I want to do. But I was like, this is just not for me. And I just got to trust and take a bet on myself that I'm going to figure this out.
Yeah.
Because I can't be in this place.
Yeah.
So
why do you feel like you were feeling like that? You just burnt out from the job, or was it other things, or?
Yeah, it was burnt out. It was just like, this isn't it. I guess it's when you explore your options.
Yeah.
To figure out what you want, what you don't want.
Yeah.
Exploring an option that I didn't want.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which was great because it makes you figure out what you do want.
Yeah, exactly.
And yeah, I was just living this lifestyle of, this is not what I want. I really appreciate flexibility. I appreciate freedom, creativity, ownership, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, it just wasn't in alignment.
Yeah.
But I took the risk, and then connected with one of my friends who is the director of talent for FitLab. And we are in partnership with Nike. We're opening up the first ever Nike studios in the world.
Yeah.
In LA. Want you to audition. I auditioned, got it.
Amazing.
So the studio's open actually right now.
Yeah.
And then there was also another position up for grabs that was a talent manager for FitLab. So I also applied and I got that as well. So now I'm helping to recruit on board the talent for all Nike studios pretty much going forward. Well, currently right now, and just help work with all the trainers and to be a part of this project, which is amazing.
It's huge.
Yeah.
So I know a lot of people are super excited about the Nike studios and all of that. What can they also expect from the Nike studios? I know there's two parts of it. So there's a running studio and then a strength studio.
Yes.
What kind of framework is it?
Two different concepts, like you said, one Nike running, one Nike training studio. The Nike running studio is going to be a multimodality studio. It'll be half running, which will be utilizing treadmills, and then the other half of the class will be lifting. The running aspect is going to be also gamified, which is going to be super exciting. It has different programming days for pace days and marathon days. So that is one of the concepts. And the other one is the training studios, which is more of a strength conditioning concept.
Yeah.
It has 5 different stations, 2 exercises per station, and then you rotate through it, utilizing different equipment.
Nice. And it's been a success. It's already open right now.
Yep, NTS is open.
Nice.
2 studios are open in LA. And yeah.
And you're recruiting for Austin.
Huge. Coming.
That's exciting.
4 studios.
Your studio.
Boom. Austin.
That's so exciting.
Yeah.
You've achieved so much. You've gone over the journey from being in little Brisbane all the way.
Small town gal.
You can call it small town? It's technically a city, but it feels like a small city. Yeah. So you also had some crazy collaborations as well that are in the boxing industry. How did they come about? How'd you get into those?
Okay, boxraws was like the biggest one.
Yeah.
I feel like that really helped pivot me and shape me.
Yeah.
I reached out to them. I saw them on Instagram, saw their brand mission, and was like, I love this. Yeah, I need to be a part of this. I don't know what you're doing, but I want to do it too.
Yeah.
So I reached out to them, and then a couple of weeks later, they got back to me, and I was doing a campaign with them, one campaign.
Yeah.
And after that campaign, we connected, we liked each other. And then from there, I became the first ever partner of the brand, which was awesome. And I felt, again, building confidence through them in my ability.
Yeah.
From there, it also helped really build my Instagram. They really helped me in that way, and just trying to incorporate more women in the sport and leading by example.
Because there's a massive stigma around, obviously, boxing and women in the boxing industry. I'm seeing it more and more now where women are not as intimidated to get into boxing. It's changing the stigma of what it is.
It's trying to be inclusive and to allow more people come into the sport and break those barriers of, oh, this isn't for me, or I don't know what I'm doing, or the gym's so scary and intimidating to walk into. So just breaking down those barriers and just getting as many people into the sport, because boxing changed my life, and I believe it has that power, the power through that sport. So trying to get as many people who want to try it out to actually do it so they can feel those benefits as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know people you've even impacted through your social media, which is so nice to have people to actually look up and actually try boxing because of you is such a massive thing. Other partnerships, you also have done other partnerships.
So Everlast, I'm working with Everlast right now, which is amazing. They're also right now trying to make boxing more attainable, more inclusive, also promoting that message, which I'm just really loving to see multiple brands do, because there's just so much potential for more people to get into it. And again, like you're saying, not necessarily going to fight, but I've also seen people going from, oh, I just want to try it, to like, hey, I want to spar. I've seen so many women specifically that didn't even have that intention, but just wanted to learn. And then it's just so addictive. So yeah, Everlast, boxraw, I've done Fabletics, Puma.
What are some goals?
My goals would be, I don't know if it'll happen this year or who knows when it'll happen, but to be able to travel and work more frequently, which would be awesome, whether that's opening up more Nike studios, or maybe teaching boxing, going out on my own, teaching boxing workshops, different cities or different countries. Collaborations, of course, is always something that I really love to do, working with big brands and just continuing to feel joy with what I'm doing day to day.
Yeah.
Having a little bit more downtime, a little bit more self-reflection time, solitude time, connecting with amazing like-minded people. I absolutely love working with other trainers and producing content with them as well. That's like a big hobby of mine. I would like to travel to maybe Europe.
Whoa.
Maybe a quick little Europe, Italy trip, Spain. Yeah, I'm going to have to get back to you on that one.
Yeah.
What about you? What are your goals?
honestly continuing to just collabo, to be honest.
You should just tell everyone what you did in 2023.
But yeah, I quit my job, my full-time job in January because it was quit the job year it was for us. I just wasn't happy. I was just over it. So I wanted to move on. And after I left that job, I had some people reach out to me and was like, what are you doing next? Would you work with us? And I was like, no, I'm going to go travel. I've just worked through COVID, being in the gym management marketing space. I was just dead, just trying to come up with like ideas. I was like, yeah, I need a break. And I wasn't really enjoying the grey in Vancouver or the cold. So I was just like, let's just wrap this up. My partner is obviously incredible. And he was like, yeah, let's do it. Whatever you want to do, let's go.
YOLO mentality.
Yeah. So I quit my job. A month later, we're on a plane to visit Australia. And during that time, I was dabbling in the idea of helping these businesses that had reached out. And I just decided that, yeah, I'm going to actually give a real go of this and start a collabo. And it was honestly beautiful how it started. And I think the more people that continuously just reached out to me, and I'll never forget my first 3 clients. I still treat them so well to this day and still have all of them. And yeah, I just loved being able to help small businesses or businesses that were owner operated that really care about providing a good service and a good community. And I was like, let's just go in on this. So that's what I did. Just growing collabo is my main thing. Lots of new and exciting things and just helping small businesses just hone in on growing and actually talking to their target audience, but also a lot of new creative things are happening in 2024 with collabo that I wish I had those sort of things when I was running a gym and a wellness space. Yeah.
What a year, man. Both of us quit our jobs.
Yeah, both of it. Yeah. I was happy in our job, quit, moved on, boom.
Just simple as that. But I feel like it gets to a point where you're like, you come to a realization with yourself and you're like, this isn't what I want.
Yeah. And I think as well, it takes a while. I think when you establish, okay, I'm not happy here, but I think the quicker you can get out of it, the better.
You know when it's not for you and you can't hold yourself back by being fearful of not knowing.
Yeah.
And I think we're able to do that a little bit more because we've moved countries. And that is a big step of courage and walking into unknown. So things like this is maybe a little bit more comfortable for us, but obviously being smart about it.
I think taking risks is everything, though. It makes you grow in so many different ways, and it's so uncomfortable at the start, but there's always so much reward in the risk.
So much.
Yeah. And if you think about it, imagine if you decided to stay in Toronto. What? Wild.
Especially after COVID.
Yeah.
It's not a happy place, I heard.
Not a good place.
Not a good place. No. I would not have been able to be at the beach reading a book in the middle of the day.
During COVID. Can't do that in Canada. I can't do that in Canada.
But yeah, definitely taking risks. Big year of taking risks for both of us.
Yeah, and I think it's paid off heavily. I feel super content with how everything is going, and I honestly wouldn't do anything different as we wrap it up. Definitely one of the best years.
And also, I know from me, I couldn't have predicted how this year was going to end. Do you think you knew how you were going to end up creating your own brand and running your own business to where it's at today?
No, it was funny because when I started Collabo, I never was like, oh yeah, I'm starting a business. It just happens. And I think it's great because then that speaks to how you can accidentally create something.
You accidentally created it, but it was on purpose because it's all the skill sets you have.
And I feel extremely confident in what we're doing and how we can help and provide. And I honestly love what I do. It's still a young business, but I love it so much. I wake up and I love Mondays. It sounds so corny.
No,
but I literally love what I do.
I feel like I've had a couple of moments, many moments actually lately like that. And I think it just means that we are affirming ourselves through our intuition and our body that we are exactly where we are meant to be right now.
Everything is working out the way it should be, right? But yeah, I feel extremely blessed for all the clients that also trusted in me in the very early stages. And while I was just going around the world, what is life? Yeah, I can't wait to see what you do.
Crazy.
I'm definitely coming to visit you in LA. I want to do an Austin trip. There's actually some really good gyms out there too.
Nice. Yeah, it's popping off.
Yeah, it is.
That city's on the come up.
That's a wrap. Boom. We're out.